In today's episode, there's so many people that are doing workshops, webinars. I want to show you the secret strategy to put into each of your webinars to double your conversions at the end to get people to buy. No one wants to do an hour-long webinar and it's crickets. So how do you double your conversions? The only way that a workshop or a webinar works is if a person initially in the beginning stages of it trusts you, but nobody want to listen to you just talk about yourself. So they don't want to hear, hey, so it all started when I was a twinkle in my mother's eye. So what I would do in a workshop is I would dispel the myth and address the false sense of hope they had and show them why it doesn't work. If you're watching this video, you're about to make a whole lot of money. All right, welcome back to another episode of Monetize with Marcus. Now, in today's episode, I really want to give you some strategy or what I would call secrets. You've been on a webinar before, and chances are you've been on some really good ones and some really bad ones. A really bad one where you hope that the person give you your time back. You want to reclaim your time, 1 hour of a pitch fest. Now, if you're on the other side of that, and you're the person that is you're a coach, entrepreneur, chances are you are if you're listening to this, or even if you're a business owner wondering, let's say if you are in the event space business. Most people in the event space business never really put out online workshops to educate people. So I want to talk about, regardless of what business you are, I think online workshops, webinars are a phenomenal way for you to capture an active audience, educate them, share your story, and be able to convert an influx of. You do not have to sell on a webinar. You can convert them into a call that you follow up. So I'll talk about that, what I call a takeaway sale or reverse sale, where you lead everyone on the webinar throughout into a scheduled call. And from that, this might be great for photographers, videographers. Just imagine if you did an online workshop or webinar and you educated people, it was fun, exciting, interactive, you answered questions, you could then take that and throughout the webinar, let's just say you were bonusing people access to a follow-up call directly after. You did the webinar at 3 o'clock and you said for the next 4 hours you're taking calls. You can reverse that now, start hopping on the phone with them and doing it that way if you have that type of business model. Or if you have a digital product, a course to sell, you can close the sale. But I want to talk about some different structure you should have in place, all right? Now, here's what I think. The only way that a workshop or a webinar works is if a person initially in the beginning stages of it trusts you, but nobody want to listen to you just talk about yourself. So they don't want to hear, hey, so it all started when I was a twinkle in my mother's eye. Then I was always successful. I had a Lambo, this. Like, you ever seen that person that over talks about themselves? Here are a few things that I think should be present in your webinar in a different way. You should educate them about you, but here's the way I think you ought to put it in place. So I think those first few slides in your webinar should be to get buy-in, right? To get people to agree with you, locate themselves. Here's one of the things I do. In the first few slides of my online workshop, I have this model that I walk through, the 4 stages of where entrepreneurs are. They're either in the making money phase, so the making money phase, stacking money phase, the spending money phase, investing money phase. And I explain and break down what each of those phases are. And then I get people to type in the chat whether they're in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. It's a buy-in, right? Initially, right off rip. Now, then I start telling my story in context of that, talking about how when I was in the make money phase, this is typically between $0 to $10,000 a month, right? Where a person's trying to do that. This allows me the opportunity to share my story in context connected to them already locating themselves, getting them to identify with, I've been where you've been. We've got to pause right there because I'm in the giving mood. I decided to offer you a free gift, absolutely free. Now, I tell you all the time about turning your ideas into online income, but how am I going to tell you to do something and not provide the resource for it? There's so many questions that people have online about what should I post? How do I get my engagement up? How do I get people to click the link in my bio, buy from me? What should I sell? Whether it's an ebook, an online course, how much should I charge? How do I launch? How do I do a webinar? You see what I'm saying? So I decided to create a free training and give it to you that you can utilize to learn how to literally take the services that you do or the ideas you have and build a successful online company. Go to www.monetizewithmarcus.com. My gift to you. You're welcome. Right? A great workshop, webinar, thing of that nature allows you the opportunity to teach people and blend your story into it. So I would suggest whatever your framework is, Let's just say you're a photographer. Let's say you are a fitness instructor. In your first few slides, you could literally get people to gauge where they are in their fitness journey. Are you a couch potato? Are you a person who used to be an athlete who's trying to get back into tip-top shape? I want to see who's on here. Just tell me where you are, type 1, 2, or 3. That buy-in, now you can share your story of where you are in it to get that buy-in, that agreement, and then you can reposition it into this next phase. So that was the first phase. I'm trying to tell y'all, these podcasts are really like keynote addresses. They like work, like this is an online workshop. I'm walking you step by step. So you got that framework. You're getting the buy-in. You're transitioning out of that into the first thing I think you ought to have in your online workshop that just doubles your conversions is I think immediately you ought to dispel myths and moves into what I call thought reversal. So here we go. How do you dispel a myth? If they believe that what they're doing is currently working, you're not going to get them to convert and buy something from you. So in order to get them to buy from you, they've got to buy into the same thing you believe they got to believe. In order to get them to buy from you, they have to believe that what you believe, they believe. Now, how are you going to convince them of that? You have to figure out some level of thought reversal, so you got to debunk some myths. You should quit working for free. How did social media hire all of us to be their workforce? We're on the app posting videos, going live, creating reels. We do not get paid when we create content on social media. They do by selling our content to advertisers. But how do you actually build an online business using social media? I want to break it down for you.